So I'm pretty convinced that the Xmen is literally named Xmen because the change that occurs that makes the mutants happens after the X eclipse, the second eclipse, making the X.
Considered a coincidence. Those looking to the skies are aware of a total solar eclipse and a shadow that traversed the United States southeast from Oregon to South Carolina on August 21st, 2017. Just under 7 years later, on April 8th, 2024, North America will experience another total solar eclipse and a shadow that will traverse northeast from Mexico to New Brunswick and over the large island of Newfoundland. Interestingly, the two paths intersect in the Midwest of the United States. In Illinois, in the little town of Makanda, population 540, once referred to as the Star of Egypt.
Could that be the day of awakening of the elect of God?
And that's why the robotics are being made, right? The robotic dogs, the robotic soldiers. It's because very soon we're going to have superhumans.
You can't make me do this. You were designed to protect humans from mutants. That is not logical. Mutants are human. Has seeped into science reality this week, as a robotics company showed off its sniper rifle-equipped robo-dog at the Association of the U.S. Army's annual convention in Washington, D.C.
And the government's still going to try to contain them, like they want to always control everything. And it seems like it's always been there in our entertainment. Like even when you think like Spider-Man, he gets bitten by a radioactive spider.
That's great.
MJ, let's go.
Wait. Thanks. Parker, let's do it.
Well, think about the reality. It's as above as below. It's a human that is radioactive getting bitten by a spider. That's the truth. You see, the mRNA, the messenger, carrying the DNA of who? I think you know who.
And above him shines the Arten, or sun disk. This, the pharaoh now proclaimed, was the one and only God. But for most Egyptians, this was unthinkable heresy. For millennia, they had worshipped many gods, usually represented in human or animal form. These gods, they believed, had made Egypt great. Now a new pharaoh had swept them and their priests aside, and had even declared that he was the new high priest, the single connection to the sun god they must all now worship.
And it causes mutation.
It's April 17th, 2020, and the mystery still remains. Who is Akhenaten from Egypt? Is his DNA from this world? Stuart Fleischmann, assistant professor of comparative genomics at the Swiss University in Cairo, and his team have recently published the result of a 7-year study that mapped the genomes of 9 ancient Egyptian pharaohs. 8 of the pharaohs sampled were completely normal, but the 9th sample taken from the tomb of KV-55, believed to be Akhenaten, was highly unusual. Fleischmann and his team subjected the precious samples of ancient DNA to a process called polymerase chain reaction, PCR. In the field of molecular biology, this technique is often used to replicate and amplify a single copy of a piece of DNA, giving researchers a clear picture of someone's genetic fingerprint. A small fragment from the brain tissue has been the source of the DNA sample, and the test was reported using bone tissue, but the same results were obtained. One of the culprits' name was the CXPAC-5, which is responsible for cortex growth. It appears this increased activity in Akhenaten's genome would suggest that he had a higher cranial capacity because of the need to house a larger cortex. But what mutation would have caused a human brain to grow? Telomerase, a genetic enzyme, is only expanded by 2 processes: extreme aging and extreme mutation. Genetic and archaeological data suggests Akhenaten lived to be about 45 years of age. This is not nearly enough to consume all the chromosomal telomeres. This hypothesis is also backed up by the fact that electron microscopes analysts reveal signs of nucleatic cicatrix, which is a telltale sign of DNA helix healing after being exposed to strong mutagens. Results of the osseous tissue sampled from the skull of Akhenaten, it is far denser and fundamentally different from other mummies of the same age and period. Akhenaten's skull and skeletal structure are twice as dense and twice as strong as modern humans.
And the corona, that has to do with not only your brain, but the sun. And the underground bases underneath Canada, cloning facilities.
Generals, welcome. Munson.
Weapon X, like an Xmen. Weapon X.
Today, we're going to witness medical history. Today, we're going to create Weapon X. X.
The healing factor. Healing factor like Akhenaten, right?